Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's video podcast interview with Isaac Thomas. Isaac Thomas is the lead or the managing director of VeganNation, and he will be telling us a little bit about himself and also about the projects which he anchors. Isaac, over to you.
Thank you very much. So it's a pleasure to be here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My background, a little bit about myself. I grew up in the States. I grew up in Israel, lived back in the States for many years. And then I've been living back in Israel in the last year and a half for this amazing project of VeganNation. My background is actually from construction and real estate investments in the U.S. I always say my background is from physical blocks, and now we're into blockchain. But I've been in construction and real estate since I'm 15. And 3 years ago, I turned vegan, and that took a big shift in my life. And I decided to devote my life towards advancing veganism, and that's what led us to what we have today, this company called VeganNation, which is a platform designed to unite the global vegan community into a shared economy with our own currency, the vegan coin, for vegans to use around the world, and to support, to strengthen, and build a cruelty-free global economy.
All right, thanks a lot for the introduction, Isaac. You clearly mentioned that you became vegan 3 years ago. May we know what the motivation for turning vegan was?
Absolutely. The joke is, how do you know a vegan in a room? Because within 30 seconds, he will tell you about it. So thank you for asking. For me personally, the truth is there was a personal, spiritual meditation journey where I always like to say, if I'm trying to be as alive as possible, I cannot put into my body something that carries the energy of suffering and death. And I realized that in order for me to be as positive as possible, as happy as possible, and as alive as possible, I have to really look deep at what I consume on a daily basis, and that led me to choose a plant-based lifestyle.
So this wasn't based on the premise of living more healthy?
I think health, people use the word health freely or loosely these days. I think health really is a full encompassing of mind, body, and soul, where we have to have all elements truly healthy. So yes, a vegan lifestyle is definitely physically much more healthy, but then also you feel lighter. I believe that from a spiritual perspective, your mind is cleaner. And I think that it's a clean way to live these days, especially when we live in a world where everything is industrialized and you have no idea where most of the food comes from. I think going back to the basics and living a clean plant-based lifestyle really opens the mind, body, and soul.
So I would like to come back to the vegan thing again. So you mean you take or consume or use absolutely no animal products?
None. Obviously no meat, no dairy. I don't need honey. I don't need anything that comes from animals. Only things that grow from the ground.
I see. So why blockchain?
Amazing question. First of all, the question is, why blockchain in general? What is so awesome about the idea of blockchain? Why has blockchain took the world by storm over the last decade? And people are looking at this as equivalent of coming up with the World Wide Web. And I think one of the reasons goes back to the very basics of society, of going back to community, to shared economies, and people helping each other, where for decades and centuries, the world moved towards central powers, and the world has been run by central powers for so many centuries and for millennials. And we realized that we could find a much better system that can work for everyone. And the vision, the grand vision of blockchain is, instead of relying on one centralized power or database or whatever it is, if we build a community that is dedicated around a similar goal, it could be any goal, but if we're able to build a community around a common goal, then we're able to run things first much better, much more efficient, without centralized bodies in the middle. That when you have a central body, it also invites many aspects that can go wrong. So the vision of blockchain is that if we all come together as humanity, we can do something better. And then from that idea, it can translate into new kinds of currencies, new kinds of technology, new kind of local governance, and many other applications that we did not even start to imagine.
Well, nice. That being said, how big is the current vegan market, and how effective will VeganNation's value proposition be to capture a part of this market?
So currently, the global vegan community is about 300 million people. Again, to some rough estimates, you have estimates that are much higher, but according to some very conservative estimates, you're talking about 300 million vegans worldwide. That number is, the vegan community is the fastest growing lifestyle in the world today. In the last 3 years, it's been growing 100% in the US, Western Europe, China, and other places. So it's the fastest growing lifestyle. It's the most activist, passionate, and dedicated community that all aspire towards building a better world. So thank God I'm part of this amazing community, and what we want to do is, and what we are doing, is bringing everyone to the realization that let's work together as a global economy. So it's the fastest growing lifestyle in the world, and what we are on a mission to have people realize is that we need to come together, and with that power of unity, we can take veganism to the next level. The idea is, and it goes back to your question before of why blockchain. I will touch on the second layer question of why cryptocurrency and why is the vegan coin essential to the vegan lifestyle. So cryptocurrency and blockchain, the two main aspects that makes it a visionary idea and captures the mind of everyone is two very simple principles. One is transparency. Second thing is validation. So as we said before about the very basic ideas of blockchain, of a group of people coming together to share data, and then that validates the data when you work as a distributed community, then those are the two basic things and fundamental things that the vegan community aspires to every day. Paul McCartney said that if slaughterhouses would have glass walls, the world would go vegan. I always tell people blockchain technology and cryptocurrency is the glass wall towards the financial system, the global financial system. Cryptocurrency and vegan coin, the idea is that from day one, it's going to be a fully transparent currency where vegans all around the world are going to be able to transact and see exactly what their money is doing. The idea of put your money where your mouth is truer than ever with the vegan coin, where people are going to be able to see that, okay, I spend vegan coin at a restaurant, I donate vegan coin to an organization, and I'll be able to see what this currency is doing forever. That level of transparency will bring a new level of responsibility of how we spend money. That's number one. Number two is money moves the world. There's no way around it. Money, the financial system, is the driver for many seismic movements in the world, and we want to bring that to the vegan movement. When Goldman Sachs bankers will walk into the office on a Monday morning, and the conversation around the table will be, "Did you see what the vegan coin did over the weekend?" That will bring a whole new level of awareness and a new level of conversation towards veganism and why it's the future of the world.
It's quite inspiring, the last ending part, talking about where vegan coin becomes a center of attention, such that it is able to drive people into the vegan lifestyle. That's quite exciting. I actually smiled at that statement. But I would like to find out, do you have, or do we currently in the cryptocurrency ecosystem have something similar to the vegan coin? And if so, why then do you think that you need a new coin? Why not collaborate, or why not make use of an existing coin that shares the same values as yours?
Absolutely. Great question. First of all, so I will start with a statement that I always share, and that is, a nation is as strong as its economy, and an economy is as strong as its currency. You have to have these three things together in order to have a successful economy. VeganNation, that's what we're doing. We're uniting the vegan community. It's easy to define around the world what is a vegan economy, and I'll touch back this in a second. And then we're bringing the vegan coin to connect everything together. Now, again, what is the definition of a currency? What specifies one currency from the other? You have the American dollar and you have the Argentinian peso. What is the difference? Why is one currency stronger than the other? Around the world, it's been like that since the beginning of times. And the answer is, it's all about the community that is using their currency on a daily basis. It happens to be that in the last 200 years, the American dollar is the most used, most trusted currency in the world. So it's a stronger currency, where other countries are using currencies that are used by a smaller amount of people from a different economic background. And that's what makes the difference between all the currencies that we have in the world today. You can ask the same question: why do countries have their own monetary system? Why can't the entire world use the same currency? Some people have that vision, but until we reach that point, a community is defined by the strength of its economy. Now, are there similar currencies? Yes. Every currency, every method of payment that you have in the world today, you can make the argument that it's just like the other. However, as a community, we want to come together and build our own economy. Now, why is vegan coin different than any other cryptocurrency out there? It goes back to this idea. At the end of the day, a currency is only as strong as the community using it on a daily basis. Besides maybe a handful of examples in cryptocurrency, we haven't seen yet a clear example of mass adoption, or even a small adoption by a dedicated community that wants to use it. The closest thing is the Bitcoin, where you have the hardcore community, and the Ethereum, but the Ethereum is not used on a daily basis. But the Bitcoin community, you have, again, it's very small numbers compared to the global vegan community, but you have a group of people that for 10 years have been strong advocates for the Bitcoin. What's amazing about the vegan community and the vegan economy is that it's easy to define a global vegan economy. it's vegan restaurants. Every business that is owned by a vegan shares similar values. If you put a group of vegans in a room, one from New York, from Brazil, from South Africa, from Dubai, from China, and from London, you put them into a room, you will feel like it's one community. And that's what's so amazing. We are a definition of a nation that is spread it out around the world. So when we come together, we have a real vibrant economy that can come together around a shared currency. You don't really have that example with almost any, with no other cryptocurrency, and very few currencies in the world have the basic values and the passion that drives the vegan movement to where it is today.
All right. That being said, I am of the personal opinion that as time goes on and as the ecosystem, the crypto ecosystem develops and matures, we would see the numbers reduce significantly from the current more than 2,000 cryptocurrencies we have into a measure of projects using a single currency as time goes on. So, as you mentioned, we first of all need to develop the economy around it, and then we mature as we go on. The next question I have for you will be, how will you convince stores and manufacturers to onboard onto the vegan platform? What benefit or what value proposition will you be giving stores, supermarkets, malls, manufacturers on why they need to make use of your platform?
Absolutely. So again, for the last couple of years, we could have put out the vegan coin onto the market 13, 14 months ago when we had the technology ready, and it would be a totally speculative currency with no real use case behind it. Instead of that, we decided to do things the right way and first build the foundation, build the economy, build the use case, build the value proposition. And I can say today, we have the support of the biggest vegan organizations around the world, as well as we already have hundreds of vegan businesses around the world, from restaurants to vegan hotels to yoga studios, vegan doctors, vegan lawyers. We have a vegan car mechanic. We have vegan business owners from around the world that the value proposition for them, they understand the value proposition for them is for the vegan community to unite and become a strong economic power. Like I said at the beginning, me as a vegan, I believe that the message of veganism can come out in many different ways. You have amazing many organizations around the world that are preaching veganism to not exploit any animals, to be against animal cruelty. You have people that are showing the beautiful side of veganism because of the health benefits. The value proposition of VeganNation, of the vegan coin, is it's time to unite and become a global economic power that will bring change and advance veganism in ways that we cannot even imagine today. Because imagine a strong vegan coin, the possibilities of advancing and developing the vegan world is endless. Because when companies and corporations around the world will understand that, okay, there's a strong economic power here, we want to do business with vegans, that will open options and opportunities for vegans to make the vegan lifestyle easier, more accessible, more affordable, and more approachable around the world. And that's my goal, to make a bit of a difference, to be able to bring veganism to a bigger crowd in an easier way around the world.
I mean, it's quite impressive that you mentioned that you prevented yourself from rolling out the vegan coin, even though it was ready a couple of months back, and decided to build the foundations of it, because this also ties into an article I wrote just a few hours ago and published about security token offerings and security tokens, actually, and where I juxtaposed them and compared them with utility tokens, mentioning that utility tokens are mostly speculative, but and it was imperative that issuers of utility tokens built a business around it to make it less volatile and less susceptible to manipulators. So yeah, that you tie in this, I want to believe the vegan token is a utility token, right?
For sure. So, and you touched on such an important point, because most of the cryptocurrencies out there that went out in the last 3 years have been totally speculative. Some of them will never come to see the light of day on what they promised to do during their the ICO process. Instead of that, we raised money internally, and we launched the VeganNation app. Is ready to launch. It's in beta testing right now to a closed group of people, and next week it's going to be available to download on a Android or the Apple phones. So we did a lot of the work that people are talking about doing 2-3 years down the road. We've already done that to make sure that day one, this is a utility token. Day one, that vegan coin goes alive, you'll be able to use it on the platform and at vegan businesses around the world. So I totally connect to what you said, and it's more and more important that that companies around the world read your article and really take it to heart and build a real product before they just throw something out there.
Yeah, I mean that's very important for the growth of the blockchain space in general. You mentioned your app. I read somewhere on your website where you said that the app was going to be web-based. Is that the case?
The what?
That your app was going to be a web-based app.
A web-based? I mean, we're going to have an app. We're going to have we're going to have a website. At the end of the day, the idea is that every vegan person, regardless of gender, race, age, background, will be able to access and have the full benefits of being part of this global community. So yeah, we will build and we will operate any way possible to make sure that we reach everyone, from the Y generation to people that are ready to retire, that everyone that wants to participate in this. The idea is, again, to make veganism as accessible, as approachable, and as affordable to all. And we'll use any platform that we could in order to do that.
Thank you, Isaac. It's supposed to be a 30-minute interview, but it seems we've even gone more than that. But before we end, I would like to know, where do you, together with your team, see the VeganNation project in the next 3 years, and what would convince a token buyer to buy a vegan coin?
Absolutely. So first of all, there's a saying that that reading the future is not for smart people. But I will say that what I truly believe for the foreseeable future is that VeganNation will launch its app very soon, in the next couple of weeks. The vegan coin will go live in the next couple of months, and within the next 2 to 3 years, you will see the global vegan community becoming the first mass adopters of cryptocurrency, because we have that X factor. Vegan people have that X factor to go out of our way to do something that we believe in. And when cryptocurrency, vegan coin, fits our belief system and our ideology, we will go out of the way to make it happen. We have dozens of vegan ambassadors around the world that their sole journey and passion is to get the VeganNation message out there. Every vegan person is a vegan influencer. So I really see the vegan community as the first mass adopters of blockchain and crypto. And when it becomes widely adopted and accepted within the vegan community, it's going to be much easier for other projects to do similar things around different groups and communities. And again, for a token buyer, you have to look at who's going to use your token on a daily basis after it goes out. I mean, again, I don't like to talk about other projects, but again, I mean, you don't need to be very smart to see a token or a cryptocurrency and just try to figure out for 2 minutes who's going to use it a year down the road. If you don't have a clear answer and a clear community today that you can build on for a year and 2 and 3 down the road, then I think, I mean, that is, it's worse than speculation. I think it's, but again, over here with the vegan community, it's the fastest growing lifestyle in the world, the most passionate community, the most activist community, and we will go out of our way to build a cruelty-free global economy.
Thank you very much, Isaac, for obliging us your time. And I'm actually really excited about the fact that you keep mentioning adoption, because adoption is basically what the crypto community needs to grow and shake itself off the shackles of traditional financial markets. Thanks a lot for your time, and we should take a look at VeganNation some years down the line and see how far you've gone.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. Keep up the good work, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you very much, Isaac.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.